Hi, guys. It's Pastor David Ziler from the Union Rescue Mission. I have a special guest here, Miss Sandy. She comes around the Union Rescue Mission a lot using some of our services. And we just wanted to have a conversation carrying over from last week's conversation. Last week, we discussed the concept that one of the highest rising populations in the United States for homelessness are senior citizens or people on fixed incomes who maybe have never been homeless before and are for the first time experiencing homelessness. So we wanted to kind of bring somebody in to talk about it that has real experience with it, not just talking from an executive type of position about the problem, but really talking with a person that has to battle the budget every month and chase the budget every month. And Miss Sandy said she was willing to do that for us. So Miss Sandy, it's great to have you here today.
Thank you.
Hey, can you state your age for the record? Or ish? You can say ish.
80.
Ish. Or 80 on the button. Okay.
I'm 80. I'll be 81 in December.
Okay. All right. Well, you got a birthday coming up.
Yeah, December 19th.
Okay. Christmas baby. Okay.
I used to get on my mother and dad. I'd say, I said, why couldn't you hand me on Christmas?
Yeah. My wife was born on December 27th. So she was 2 days after Christmas. And she said all of her birthday presents always came in Christmas wrapping paper. So Miss Sandy, I thank you for coming out here and talking with us today. And essentially, we just want to talk to people about what's going on in their lives and what they're struggling with. And so you're on a fixed income right now, and there's not a lot of money left at the end of the month these days for most people's budget. I'm assuming that's probably the same for you too, right?
It's mostly at the end of the month when it's bad. But thank God for here.
Yeah.
Because I got my food and everything from here. And that was a great blessing.
Is this a pretty new thing? I mean, like the month-to-month thing, barely making it to the end of the month? Because what we've seen in the homeless community is that people recently, over the last 3 or 4 years, just really started struggling.
Well, I worked 3 jobs.
Okay.
I was working 3 jobs.
Where'd you work at?
The K-Bar, Goodwill. I worked here. I worked here for 7 years.
I remember you saying that.
And I worked at ProCare.
Okay.
That's going into the homes and working with the people. And you'd be surprised what you find out when you go into these homes and works with these people.
So your whole life you've worked with multiple jobs with people, and you've earned your living.
Took my GED, and from there, I just kept getting jobs. I worked at Friends and Wear. I worked at Willow Valley. I mean, I really
it sounds like you just had a life of loving people and caring for people, and you work your whole life. Providing for yourself, providing for your family like you did, working 2, 3 jobs most of the time through your life. Never a major issue with money.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get to this point to where you can't make more money. You're elderly. You can't get around as good as you once. You're not as spry as you once were. You still get around pretty good, I will say. I will give you credit for that. You get around pretty good. But
some days my legs give me a problem because I have both knees done. And some days they give me a problem, and it takes me a little. I mean, I do exercises every day. I have to keep moving. I mean, it's amazing what I can come through.
Yeah, you're tough.
I mean, it's
tough cookie.
Just amazing, because I thought at this age, they always say, golden age.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
That's a joke.
But, I mean, you have to be able to do it. The Lord's with me, though. The Lord's with me all this year. And I'll tell you, it's been an experience. Yeah. It's been a really experience. And I really enjoy coming down. I like meeting people, talking to people.
There's some people that come to the mission for food. There's some people who come for housing. And there's some people, there's a couple elderly people we have right now that come just to have connection to a group of people. Everybody checks in on each other, make sure everybody's okay. You check in on us every morning. We check in on you. And so there's that aspect there of what the Union Rescue Mission does too. But how long has it been since you really felt your budget being really tight? we're seeing in our culture is the money just isn't in people's pocketbook anymore like it used to be.
Yeah.
Because groceries are expensive.
And then
bills
they
are expensive.
raise all this insurance and everything. I really got mad at them. Threw my phone over that deal.
I can't picture that, Miss Sandy.
I'm at the place where I can do things that I didn't think I could.
Right, yeah.
I can do things now. Like when I had these knees, I laid up at the house there from November, December last year. I laid up there and I'd have to go to rehabilitation down across the track. And I didn't have a car. I sold my car like a nut. And I thought, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to walk down there. And I walked. Every time I had to go to therapy, I walked. And they said, where's your car? I said, I don't have a car. They said, well, how'd you get here? I said, I walked. She said, you walked? I said, yeah. And the woman says, well, I'm going to teach you how to walk up the steps and down the steps. Well, I lived up on the second floor. And I said, well, I already know how to do that. She says, what do you mean? I said, because I have 18 steps going up to the apartment. It just seems like everything has fell in place. Everything has fell. When I come down here, I just couldn't believe the love and stuff that's here.
I'm glad to hear that.
I just couldn't believe. I mean, I joke with the one in the kitchen. I call him Dad.
Oh, Frank.
Yeah, I call him
keep calling
Dad.
him that, please.
I call him Dad. I call him Dad. I say, hey, Dad, come over here and give me a hug. That's what I like to do. I like to do for people. I'd rather do without to do for people.
Oh, I know you. I've seen you do it all the time. That you do without so you can help other people.
Yeah, I do without so I'd rather help other people. That's what I really like. Doing for other people.
And like I said, I've witnessed that multiple times with you. What do you think the hardest thing to overcome being a senior citizen on a fixed income? What do you think the hardest thing to overcome is?
My problem is being by myself.
Yeah.
There was 5 of us. 2 of them, the 2 oldest one, then there's 2 younger. Then there's me. But my 2 older sisters, they passed away. Now the one, I went and visited her on the weekends. And the other one, I couldn't go to see her because she lived in Iowa. Well, that was just a little too far to go.
A little bit too far.
And then my sister lives down in South End. I don't go around her too much. So
you're just in a position now to where it's being lonely in your apartment. That's tough.
Yeah.
And that's probably a lot. Do you think a lot of senior citizens are facing that same feeling?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Being by yourself, well, especially like having surgery. And I had nobody. I didn't have my phone. I didn't have anything. Didn't have my car. Didn't have anything. I was there. Well, when they did this on my neck, they told me my spine was shrinking. He told me that I could die. Well, that's all I thought of when I was by myself.
Right.
Are they going to find me here? Or am I going to be all right? Am I going to get myself together? Mm-hmm. And I just had to make it up my mind that I was going to get myself together. And that's what I did. I just got myself together, and I come down here and I thank God for this place.
Yeah. And you come here every day and socialize with us, hang out with us, drink coffee, eat, mm-hmm. And ultimately, you are a happy spot for a lot of the homeless people.
Well, it's probably the jobs. Mm-hmm. There was jobs in this town. There was a Kelly. There was the
PPG.
Yeah. And there was Salney's. There was a steel mill. And boat place down on Mexico Farms. There was jobs like that. And I figure it's just put people out of work.
And you came through the season in our area that there was a lot of jobs, a lot of money flowing. And so you got to see the different change in population.
Yeah.
We're seeing that too. So we're seeing the situation to where we're seeing more elderly populations coming into homeless shelter, where homeless shelter traditionally would have been your younger guys trying to figure life out, maybe dabbling with alcohol or drugs. Now we're seeing it more senior citizens showing up because the income that they had when they were in the 70s and 80s are now it's not a large enough income.
Yeah. There they are. They worked all their life. They got their homes built up. They got children raised and everything. And now they're coming in to take it all.
The senior citizens you had a heart for, you're now a senior citizen, right? And kind of experiencing the same thing you witnessed when you were helping people.
I kind of leave that go. Because I like going out and helping people and doing for people and doing what I can do. These apartment buildings are hard to get into.
Yeah.
There's 3 years for the one apartment building.
To get like low income.
I went down to Cumberland Arms. I went in there and she told me I was getting too much money.
Yeah.
And I never heard that before in my life.
Never been told you make too much money, huh? And like you said, the problem is the waiting list of some of these low income housings are extremely long. What we're seeing at the Union Rescue Mission is there's a gap, right?
Yeah.
So there's like, okay, you can make up to this much money to get low income housing, but the people who just make just over that, they're really hurting because they're not making enough to really survive out here and paying $750 a month rent or whatever the rents are now. I think the average is $850 actually. But they're not making enough to survive there, but they're not qualifying for the other programs. So they're at a position to where we force people in our town is that it's better for them to lose income and be able to apply for some of these other housing opportunities than what it'd be to make more money. And it's crazy. I've never thought that in my life, that it would be better to make less money. But in your case, it would almost be better to make a little bit less money.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of them there at the bridges, under the underpass, like over on Maryland Avenue. I used to walk over there. I quit going.
Yeah.
I used to walk over there to Maryland Avenue. There was a store. I seen guys there. And I got a little leery. I wouldn't go over there. I haven't been over there since. I enjoy life right now. And it's just, I never thought the way I worked, I never thought it was going to be possible.
Yeah.
I just thought, wow, you're going to be an old woman and you're going to die an old woman working.
Yeah.
But I never thought that, my health would take me down. It's just amazing to know what you could live through. It's amazing.
So that'd be a good piece of advice for your 40-year-old self. You don't know what you're going to live through, but you can survive it, right? You can get through it.
Yeah.
Your body's you're tougher than you think you are.
That's like this knee. I set the bag of oranges on the table. I bent down to pick up the bag, and the table went down. And I went with it. But this knee was weird. This knee had this like this. And I knew when I fail, that put that back in place.
Oh, yeah.
Put that knee back in place. And I said, you know what? That was a pretty good thing.
I guess
but
it was.
It did. It put it back in place.
Oh, praise the Lord.
And I said, God, thank you. I didn't break anything. All I could do was sit there and laugh.
Yeah. So the 40-year-old you needs to understand that God's in control and he's going to take care of you. Yeah. Yeah,
I found that out coming down here. I found that out coming down here.
That God's going to take care of you? How so?
He's took care of me this whole year. Because I'd sit and I'd say, God, am I going to die here or am I going to get my butt up and move? I said, am I going to die here and not be able to do anything? And then I thought, no, you're going to get yourself up and you're going to do. And
you've done.
And I've done it.
And you, like I said, we enjoy having you here every meal. And Sandy, it's always a pleasure to talk with you when we have time to do it. I'm usually a bee in a beehive running around, so we pass each other and say hi and bye, but not a lot of good conversation. But today was a joy and a pleasure. And thank you for highlighting some of the issues that senior citizens face with low income, loneliness, even dealing with having to overcome health problems. My favorite thing about our conversation is you keep referring to the older people as them people. And you're 80 years old. So I love that. I love how your perspective is it's like, well, there's older people than me. There's older people than me.
I said, I thank God I'm the age I am, and I really like living. Sometimes it's a little rough, but it gets, it gets through. I get through it, and I know the Lord's got his hands on me, and I know a lot of people here, because I can really talk up a storm.
I know these guys really like having you around, and you
are
a mother figure to a whole bunch of homeless people.
This here was one
Tim
I was really amazed with, because I was going to get ready, and I was going to walk down my sister's. And I said to him, I said, which way you go to Martin's? He said, down. I was down on the street. He said, down. And I said, okay. And we talked a little bit. And he said, why don't you come and get a meal ticket? I said, what? He said, come and get a meal ticket. You could have your meals. Well, I'll tell you what, that was the best thing that ever happened.
You've come in and
that was the best thing that ever happened to me.
And that getting the meals relieved some of the pressure in your budget, I'm assuming.
Another thing, I'm not alone.
Right.
I can come down. I'm not alone. I can walk down and I can walk back.
Well, are you going to have Thanksgiving with us?
I sure am.
All right. Well, we'll see you. Well, we'll see you the rest of the week. Thanksgiving, being here 1 to 3 is Thanksgiving dinner, and we'll be glad to have Thanksgiving dinner with you. Well, Miss Sandy, it's been a pleasure, and I'm happy that we're going to have some Thanksgiving together. And God bless you, and thank you for all your help on this project. And for those of you who are going to be watching this video, there's thousands of people like Miss Sandy who, budgets are tight. They need a little bit of assistance, and more so than anything, like she said, her biggest barrier in life right now is loneliness. And that's tough. That's tough to see and hear. But look around your neighborhood, see who's out there that you can talk to, meet with, help out with some food. And God bless you guys for watching, and have a great day.
Thank you.
That's a wrap.